Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Department Podcast, the wrestling recap version, where we will be breaking down and giving our reaction to Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, WWE TLC 2020. It was a crazy show that consisted of title changes, a return, a man basically dying, so a lot of stuff went on during that pay-per-view, but we're going to break down all that. But before we do, Justin, my buddy, how you doing today?
Good. I just got my quarterback. Hello, my computer. Two completely different things. So my computer, I probably mentioned it, on other podcasts way back when. The screen's a little messed up, so it's kind of like a finicky iPhone charger where you need it just right for it to look good. So right as you started, it started just going in and out. So I that's what I was screwing with to get it there. But Christmas is this week, so only a 3-day work week. I get off Christmas Eve and Christmas, so that's lovely. We're going to try and blow through a few podcasts this week, get it over with, take a nice little holiday break, and we're good. Yeah, that's it for me, basically.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Holiday season, like you said, it's a great time of the year for a lot of people.
Running errands, running around, doing all the fun stuff.
Oh, both of us are doing that and all that fun stuff. It's great. It's a great time of year. I saw you messing around with your laptop. I was like, well, why does you have that face on? You're like panicked in your eyes.
It wasn't panic. It was just I would like to see what's going on rather than black.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It was doing a nice little thing where it was like purple and green when it was going in and out of having a screen.
Like the Joker.
Yeah, exactly.
Joker took over. All right, so that's good.
Exactly.
Glad you're doing well. But we're here to talk about wrestling, and we're not here to break. There's no week to break down in wrestling. There's no top moments. There's no Slammy Awards. It's just strictly this episode is TLC because that's all that happened in the matter of 2 days in which the last time we recorded a wrestling episode. So let's start on the kickoff show.
I didn't watch this, so
neither did I. I was watching football. I was watching the Jets. I was hoping the Jets would lose, but they did.
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow's podcast.
For us Colts fans here, that hurt a lot.
Colts cast over here.
Colts cast. Hey, let's make our own podcast. Screw everybody else. The Colts cast.
I mean, some people on this show, they would say it already is there, but
Yeah, a lot of people don't like when we talk about the Colts. They're not going to listen to this part anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's wrestling, so they don't care.
Exactly. But kickoff show, we're just going to announce it. There's really nothing to talk about. Daniel Bryan, Otis, and Chad Gable defeat.
I don't want to talk about it, so I'll just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can't say much about that match because I didn't watch it. Don't care. It's kickoff, not important to my life.
The only thing that came out of this that's important is that Sammy's defending his IC title against Big E on SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah, they just pushed a few that we knew was going to happen anyway, from the Sammy Awards to now this.
So funny. I think it's a good chance Big E wins the title on Friday, so that's cool. I'm down for that. All right, that's all I got with that. So let's move into the first match of the night.
Actual thing that's important, the main card.
Yeah. Very important stuff because we started with the WWE title match, which was kind of a shock in a way. But the match started as Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles in the TLC match. Pretty solid match, I would say, for the most part. A lot of good bumps and all that stuff. They took a beating, both guys. But then something interesting happened, and The Miz comes waddling down the ring with John Morrison and goes to cash in his Money in the Bank and does cash in his Money in the Bank. I don't recall any other time a Money in the Bank has been cashed in a ladder match, so that was a good part of this. That was a good part. Okay. The bad part is why have him fail after everything that they've done with the briefcase over the last year?
Agree. This is the third time someone's failed. It was him, Sandow.
Fourth then, because now we have Miz, Sandow, Corbin, Cena.
Yeah. But here's I understand they want to add like pizzazz to the ladder match and all that stuff. And when he cashed in, it made sense because they were both down and out, both got thrown through tables essentially.
Yeah.
But if you're the Miz, why not just wait until the ladder match is over and they're beating the hell out of each other? And Drew is sitting on top of the ladder, right? So why didn't you just wait until the end, push him off the ladder and take it then? That's my only issue with it is that if you're going to have him fail, why not have him fail in trying to capitalize on men being down after a match? But it was also nice to see a cash in that we really haven't seen before. ever since Seth, we've kind of seen people interject themselves into matches as they were going on.
I like
Because
that.
kind of before that was always, when the champion's at their weakest point, that's when they come out, take advantage of it, and so forth. Kind of what started with Edge with the original briefcase all the way back when. For a while, I thought Miz was actually going to win.
Me too. I think he should have. I really think he should.
Yeah.
Granted, he only holds the title for a month or two.
Have him lose that Rumble.
Exactly. I think just giving him another. First of all, he deserves another world title run. He only had one in his career. He's one of the most loyal guys in that company. He does everything for that company. So first of all, he just deserves it playing out because of the person that he is. And it just went to waste because first of all, Otis won it in the summer. Then it looked like they had no other plans to Otis, so they gave it to Miz, which is like, cool, they're going to do something with this. They're giving it to Miz. And then the same fate happened, which probably
almost
Otis, and which
wonder
lost it.
If they almost felt like they had to have a cash in because of, having the pay-per-view and not wanting to cancel the whole pay-per-view. So I wonder if it was just them all along, like, we're just not going to have them win it, because you look at who the champions have been for the majority of the year and what they've done with the stories, and maybe they didn't want to take the belt away from, the main people feuding for either the Universal or WWE Championship. And this is what they were kind of thinking of doing all along, because they just didn't want to interrupt the status quo.
You honestly have a point there.
Because, if they wanted Otis to fail with it, why not just do it then, right?
Yeah.
Or go for the tag titles and change it up that way.
Yeah, it was just disappointing because there hasn't been like a legit, honest, like male cash in. Like females I know have done it here and there, but like for the men, like I'm looking at the list right now for just the men. First, Otis won, lost it. Miz lost, whatever. He's been through all that. The next one, Brock won, and then he didn't even cash it in. He cashed it in for a match, so it wasn't a legit
scheduled
cash
in.
Same with Braun Strowman the year before. He scheduled a match too. The year before that, Baron Corbin lost his. And then the year before that, Dean Ambrose did it in the same night. So we're all the way back to 2015 now, where Sheamus cashed in on Roman Reigns. Was the last time there was a male Money in the Bank winner.
Surprise cash in, yeah.
Which was a surprise cash in, not in the same night and not for a scheduled match. That's 5 years ago.
And if they're kind of stale with the idea of the Money in the Bank, just retire it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe take 2-3 years off and come back to it. Because it's like, if you're feeling forced to use it, that's how we see the streak of what it's been.
Or wait, you still have plenty of months left.
Yeah, because you have until next June, July.
I would say June.
Yes. So that's 6 months.
Yeah. But that besides that, Drew McIntyre did retain the title, which was expected. We kind of hoped AJ would win. We were hoping. I know both of our favorites didn't have a good night winning titles wise, but they did put on a hell of a match. I thought it was really good, the match overall. It gave a lot of intrigue once the Miz got involved, but besides that, I still thought.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good TLC match. It was a good opener.
Very good opener. A lot of good opening like pay-per-view matches this year, like the Hardy, Sami Zayn, and AJ.
Yeah, and then we've seen a lot of pay-per-views kind of just take a nosedive from that, but this wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
The Survivor Series.
And we're going to continue in the card. We're going to go through the way the matches happened in the night. And then next was Sasha Banks defeating Carmella. I actually thought this match was a lot better than I was expecting. Carmella impressed me. Sasha Banks is fantastic as well. But Carmella tapped out. So I'm just hoping that this feud kind of
goes away for a little bit.
Yeah, it gets pushed to the side.
Because if you have, it's kind of like when you have someone tap out, you put it on the back burner if there's a pin, you can revisit it. But like a tap out compared to a pin is you gave up, right? Rather than, you couldn't kick out. So I agree. I hope it gets put on the back burner just because it was just thrown together, forced. And it was obviously just to get Carmella back into the main, thick of things because of the rebrand.
Yeah.
She does nothing for me anyway. Like her old character and now this one. Okay. So I'm fine with somebody else.
Me too. I feel like this feud kind of like boosted her status a little bit, which I like. Like it made her feel like more of a main event player compared to like just like a mid-card-ish tag team champion, 24/7 champion, whatever the hell she was. But I don't know. I'm cool if they do maybe one more match, put Carmella away for sure, then have Carmella feud with someone else on SmackDown, or maybe getting a tag team would be fine. Maybe Carmella and Billie Kay or something. Billie Kay's been floating around, and they're kind of similar-ish personality, so that would be fun. But that does it for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. I have nothing else to add to this.
I'm glad Sasha retained. She looked really good as usual.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
In the ring.
That too. But anyways, switching brands, going back to Monday Night Raw. About damn time this happened. The Hurt Business defeated the New Day to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Wow, it's feel like a long time coming. Like these guys have been feuding ever since the New Day switched over to Raw. They've had many matches on Monday Night Raw. Every single one has been good. Even the one on the pay-per-view was good. But I want to get your thoughts of this finally.
Yeah, like you said, it's long overdue that they should have done the gold rush with them. I had to laugh when Graves was like, they have all the gold. It's like they're missing a belt. But for mid card stables, they have all the gold that's important to them. It was nice seeing Lashley come out, and it was I'm glad MVP didn't really get as involved as he could have, right? Yeah. And watching Cedric and Shelton work together as a team, they could be a really entertaining team to watch because they're similar styles. Obviously, Shelton's a lot older and doesn't fly around as much as he used to, but I liked how, at first it looked like Shelton was gonna go get the win himself, and then Cedric obviously popped in, got the win for him, and it looked like there's gonna be some dissension there. Maybe we see Shelton getting kicked out, or way down the line from there. But it seemed like once they won, whatever issue they had in the ring real quick went away because they won.
Yeah, it's almost like an uncle and like a uncle and nephew like relationship between the two in a way. I thought because just of the age difference, but yeah, I really wanted to touch on that like little tension that they had towards the end of the match where Cedric tagged himself in and all that, and it looks like you said Shelton might be getting kicked out of the group eventually. I think it's Cedric that might be getting kicked out of the group
since he
just because he's like the young gun that's like kind of like
I see them almost going. I want to see them going reverse of Evolution of how like Orton was the first one to get kicked out first. I see maybe, Shelton getting kicked out because, he's not investing in the future or believing in the group long term. So that's why they dump him. I don't know.
Could be. I don't know, but something's going on there. They've been teasing at some stuff here and there, but it's fine. I loved it. I'm a big Hurt Business fan. I'm finally happy to see him get a little bit more gold. And now MVP's going to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. He's going to beat Drew McIntyre. They're going to complete the gold rush.
I hope not. But MVP is such a good manager.
Yeah.
Like this is such a great second act to his career in WWE. So
yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see them who they face next. Like, I like having Lashley with the U.S. title because, we always talk about it being trapped within the Hurt Business and that whole feud with Apollo Crews and whatnot. But he could elevate it to like a 1B main event belt for like as high as an upper mid card belt could be. And with them having the tag titles, it makes them all more powerful and all more legit as well.
Yeah, you're right. I just like you said too. I don't really know who they're gonna defend it against.
Yeah, like we're probably get the New Day at
Rumble or something.
Yeah,
because I'm looking on the Raw roster right now. There's not many tag teams besides Miz and Morrison, Lucha guys, maybe Retribution.
Have they even been around? Like,
yeah, they've been around here or there. They're like in a feud with Ricochet. They're trying to like convert Ricochet into their group, which I think would be kind of cool. I'm with it. If they don't do anything for Ricochet, so that'd be kind of cool. But there's only like a handful of tag teams on Raw, but let's see what they do with the belts. I'm excited to see what they do. And now we're going to stay on Raw because Nia and Shayna Baszler, our favorite tag team in the whole world, were defending their tag team titles against Asuka and a mystery opponent. And this mystery opponent, which was one of our predictions on the podcast, so we kind of got it right, was a thinner, more agile, looked really good.
Athletic.
Charlotte Flair, yeah. Look, she looked really, really well rested, like she needed this break. And they won the titles. So Charlotte and Asuka win the titles. And I'm okay with this for now because Charlotte's back. It's getting her back into the groove.
She has a belt.
Yeah, well, she the only belt she was missing too. So
that's the thing. She's with Bayley, Banks, and Asuka, I guess, then to be the Triple Crown winner for women's.
Yeah.
I'd assume it's them.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Charlotte's still the only one to hold the NXT Divas, Raw,
Yeah.
SmackDown, and Tag. She's going to be the only one to ever do that.
Yeah.
The only one. So that's cool. I think this is
until the Bellas come back.
This is like the Miz and Shane McMahon feud from a couple of years ago. They won the tag titles. They're probably going to have another match at WrestleMania. I don't know who's going to turn on who. It's leaning towards Charlotte turning on Asuka just because heel Charlotte is so good.
So much better than face Charlotte.
Exactly. I don't mind heel Asuka if they go that route, but I'm not a fan of face Charlotte. But hey, cool.
It'll be interesting to see them. I wonder if, because they had the wild card rule within the belts, because that's where we saw Bayley and Sasha bounce around, and then almost exclusively with Nia and Baszler we saw them stay on Raw. So I wonder if they're gonna have them stay on Raw now for the time being.
Well, technically I think they both are Raw superstars.
Yeah,
so they'll probably stay there for a little while, but they're down to bounce around. But my only part that I don't like about this, of course, is that it's another team that's not a legit tag team that won the belt.
They were just kind of thrown together, but also other than the Iconics and like the Riot Squad, who is a legit tag team in the women's division on main and NXT,
there's none. There's really none, which is stupid. So at this point, scrap the belts. I'm sick of these titles. But
it was a nice idea. In theory, they deserve to exist. They should exist, but it's been put into practice absolutely poorly.
Yeah, they have to just build up the division if they want to keep these around, but we're not here to talk about that's the future of the women's tag titles. Good for Charlotte and Asuka. Glad to see Charlotte back, so that's fun. And now on to the last two matches of the night, and probably two of the craziest matches of the year, these two. First of all, we had Universal title match. Roman Reigns defeated Kevin Owens in a TLC match. It was brutal. This match was very brutal. They went all out. Owens took some. Oh, go ahead.
It was very reminiscent of Owens' like Ring of Honor ladder matches where he was just flying off of it. Like, he is no man to be afraid of taking ladder bumps to any capacity. The most being, was it WrestleMania in Dallas where he got suplexed his head like through and like on, like, he's not afraid of ladders.
Yeah, and you brought up the Ring of Honor days, and he was a young up-and-coming guy then. He's 36 years old now, turning 37 next May. He is a father. He has like an 11-year-old kid at home, I think, or maybe a teenager, and a young girl, and he's doing all this nonsense at his age, kind of like Jeff Hardy-esque in a way. But no, he took a beating. He went through tables, went through ladders, put Jay through an announce table. Roman went through the barricade. Roman went through a pop-up powerbomb through a table. There were some moments in this match though that I was like, oh my God, Owens is really gonna do it. Then all of a sudden,
I thought for a while he was gonna do it. Like when
it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like when he like fended off Jay, I'm like, that's it. It's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, then Roman just climbs back after going through a table on the outside, and I'm like, come on. Then Kevin Owens did the pop-up powerbomb to Reigns again or something, and then Jay tugged him down. I'm like, oh my God. My heart was
just the tease of Owens getting his fingertips on the belt is just
They did it well. Like, Owens wasn't up there for too long where it looked like he was stalling too much. Like, it went well with like them pulling him down, and vice versa, because Owens, I forgot what happened. I think he got speared through the table in the corner
that he set up, and he got thrown through there.
Yeah, then he rolled out of the ring, and then he came back and knocked Reigns off the ladder. It was just crazy match.
We need more of this. We do. We need more of it. And we're getting it Friday. They announced that on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But but I'm just happy that we basically knew Roman was going to win. I know I predicted Owens just because of my heart.
But they made Owens look really good.
That's exactly
it's the thing. And that's why I wonder if they're going to have this kind of invest into Roman's feud, maybe through Rumble to Fastlane, and that's where they kind of make the transition to whoever his WrestleMania opponent would be.
Yeah, well, definitely I think into Rumble this is going, because like you just said a couple seconds ago, they are going to be in a steel cage match on Friday, and it's a non-title match, so it's a really, really good chance that Owens wins this steel cage match.
And then kind of gets the number one contender spot for
exactly
for at Rumble.
Exactly.
But give it to me all the time.
Down and calls it there.
Yeah, and then that's where they switch over. But very. I think this was definitely the better of the two TLC matches, but both of them were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I can see like Rumble. I think the last they fought at the Rumble before Roman and Owens. It was like the cage match, the shark cage match with Jericho.
That was hilarious.
Yes, it was a good match too, but I can see them pulling because it was a ladder match. This is a steel cage match. I can see like a last man standing match at the Rumble or something,
or maybe like an I Quit match. But they did that with Jay, so maybe not.
I can see a last man standing. I really can. Yeah, just because these guys both kept getting up time and time again.
It seems like that's where they're going.
Right.
That's usually how they build it. Where if you have a brutal match with, through two stipulations, usually they go to the last man standing match.
Yeah, and I'm down for that for the Rumble, but that was a great match. Roman Reigns doing a hell of a job with this. No negative, nothing for me from this match at all.
And Owens still proves that he's still one of the best when he's given the opportunity.
There you go. Plain and simple, just like that. Hopefully this leads to something in the future for
prosperous.
Owens. That'd be nice. Even if it's another mid-card title run, give him the IC title, not the US. Give him the
let him face, throw a triple threat of Zayn and Big E and him at
that's some beef.
Except for Sammy, throw that in there at like Fastlane or something. Mania or Fastlane. Yeah.
Mania. That's a great Mania match, I think. But now here we go. This is the one I've been kind of waiting to talk about for a lot, almost a whole 24 hours in a couple hours. Like I've been waiting for this because this was insane. We did not know what we were expecting out of this match. It was Randy Orton versus The Fiend in a Firefly Inferno match. Hearing that, we're like, okay, it's going to be pre-taped in like a backstage setting or undisclosed location, yada, yada, yada. Nope. Both guys come down to the ring. Cool, whatever. Then all of a sudden, all this fire just lights up around the Thunderdome. And I'm like, what the hell is going on out here?
Yeah. So when they had the thing where it's like the only way to win is like setting your opponent on fire. And then you see the ring and it doesn't have the typical, like the metal setup for the fire we saw around the ring. And then kind of watching the entrances, you could see like the pyro setup that they have for like the Undertaker or like, other people. And then around the ring, you'd see like these sticks kind of like coming out from the barricade. It's like, okay, maybe that's where the fire's going. And right. Boy, did it come up because it put any Kane entrance to shame. And honestly, they probably went a little overboard with the fire because there were no other fans there. So that's where they could have put it in the, in the crowd essentially, because they had it layered on the LED boards, and there was a lot of fire.
There was a lot of fire indeed. And it, like you said, it was just a cool sight to see because I've never, ever seen that before in my life.
We thought it was going to be like a pre-record or something. It was as well produced and shot, like how they would shoot it like through the fire and having like the heat in the shot or like the glare and like the light of the fire coming off. It was as well produced as it could have. It was probably a pre-record if we're being
100% a pre-record. You saw that.
They probably looped the fan like LED boards from previous shows.
They have tons of footage, months worth of footage.
Because, when we get to the end, obviously there's a dummy in the ring, but it was as well shot and produced for a non-pre-record match based on the stipulation that it could have been. And it was nuts.
It was nuts. It was brutal too, from Bray setting the rocking chair on fire to putting Orton in it and then almost lighting Orton on fire with the chair right there.
And then coming at him with a pickaxe and then a flaming like axe handle and then a flaming like leather strap.
That is not PG. I'll tell you that right now. That's TV-14 right there.
I saw a report somewhere where USA wants a little more mature subject and moments on Raw. So maybe this is their segue to slowly working in there.
Well, it doesn't get more mature than pickaxes, fire, and a man getting lit on fire. And we're getting to that right now. So the match technically ended when Orton pushed the Fiend's back into the fire.
By the entrance ramp, yeah.
By the entrance ramp. His whole backside and his leg.
But the bell didn't ring.
I don't think the bell rang once during the end of that.
No, it didn't. It just kind of stopped.
Then after that, Orton wasn't satisfied. He wasn't satisfied at all. So he takes the nice gas can. He goes out to ringside and gets the gas can.
Well, before that, that's when the Fiend charged at him in the ring on fire, and Orton hit an RKO with him on fire.
That is true. Ring. Then the fire went out, so I guess they kind of stopped recording.
Yeah, that's where they swapped it out.
Yeah. But then Orton got the gas can, put Bray on fire, went and got a match, lit the match, and commentators sold this so well, just like, because they know how evil Bray is, but they're still saying that's still a guy under there, that there's someone in there, like, don't set him on fire. Orton flicks the match, puts it down on Bray. Bray just engulfs in flames, and then all the fire goes crazy at the end too. It's like literally like a end of a horror film. So, and then Orton just stands there with.
I always thought it was going to be like, you know how like in a horror movie, like the killer always comes back, like they're not dead, right? They
thought he was going to sit up.
Yeah, I thought he was going to like pop up or something, and then maybe that's when he lights him on fire again. But obviously, the way they just had him get doused in gasoline, it was just like, yeah, no, that's definitely.
And the dummy they used was you couldn't even tell.
Yeah, no, it looked like a burnt Bray.
Legit a burnt Bray. People are saying, "Oh, the stomach's not as big," but what are you gonna do? It can't be picture perfect. Really? The fire burnt off some of his fat. There you go. Yeah. There's your explanation.
Fat burns, literally.
Yeah. But there's a couple things I'll post. I want to talk about.
So let's. I want to start with one. Randy Orton's technically a murderer.
A two-time murderer, because he did this to the Undertaker before too. He put Taker in the casket and did the exact same thing, but instead of just burning the casket at that time, he burnt a legit human straight up.
Yeah.
But Orton is a murderer. You are correct. But what I want to talk about is, what does this mean for the Fiend? Because does this mean that the Fiend is dead and like that's it for the Fiend? That could be a possibility. Another possibility, the Fiend just comes back from the dead, and Fiend Orton in the future. I think this match really meant that Edge isn't healthy enough, and I think they might do Fiend versus Orton at WrestleMania. Like, Fiend's gonna be off TV for months, and then come back and have a match with Orton at Mania. That might be why they did this match so out of nowhere too, because it was announced online that this was a
Inferno match.
That's all I got from it. I don't know if you want to try to break it down. What's going to happen after too? I don't know what you think.
On the Bray Wyatt Twitter, that I don't follow him. I follow other wrestling people, and they've just been liking it and retweeting it. He's been kind of tweeting out like black and white photos of like caterpillars or something, right?
Okay.
And what's something that happens with caterpillars? They go into a cocoon,
and a butterfly.
Exactly. So I think we might see another phase of the Fiend, a lot more more sadistic, basically.
Yeah, and just remember that
the Fiend mask that comes back, it's gonna be burnt. Like, it's gonna look
burnt.
It's gonna
Just remember too, you said he sent out that tweet. Bray Wyatt's not dead. The Fiend is dead. The Fiend is dead. So I wouldn't be surprised on Raw. Tonight, there's a Firefly Funhouse. There's a whatever.
There's gonna be like a painted picture of like the Fiend on fire or something.
Oh, I'm looking at his Twitter now. Yeah, I see the caterpillar.
It's like exactly. So the like Fiend's coming back.
An ultra Fiend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be scary.
Randy pissed them off.
It's gonna be a new mask, I think, and everything possibly too.
It's gonna be because right now it kind of looks like a clown with those pants. If I'm being honest,
he does. And
the jacket, like the penguin, like coattails to it. I think we're gonna get a new version of the Fiend.
Yeah, because he always said for a while too, Bray Wyatt, that there's a lot more to this character that hasn't been revealed yet.
I feel like this is going to be the beginning of the more supernatural Fiend.
That's very scary.
Since Undertaker's gone, Kane's gone, the supernatural characters are gone. So this could be the door opening for the supernatural Fiend.
That's really cool to think about. I really do hope, but even if he comes back as the normal Fiend, I wouldn't be disappointed, but I would be a lot more happier.
I would like to see some tweaks and changes to it.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more happier if that happened the way that did, but that was TLC, man. It was more extreme.
It was a good show.
It was a very good show.
Like, this would have been the perfect match for the horror show.
For Extreme Rules, exactly.
Yes.
More of a horror show than that was. Even like the Roman and Owens match was more extreme than anything on that show, besides taking an eye out. But no, very good show. If you had to give a rating out of 10 for this show.
Solid 8.
Solid 8.
Mainly just because other than the TLC matches and the Inferno match, couldn't really care about the other ones.
Yeah,
they were good. Don't get me wrong. They were good matches, but I had no interest in them.
I'll give it an 8.5. Just because I even though like you didn't like there wasn't much like interest in the other ones, the matches were still very good. Like there wasn't really a bad match. I don't know where I'm deducting the 1.5 from, really. Maybe
the women's tag match.
The failed cash-in kind of turned me off
Yeah.
a little bit, and I'm glad they lost the titles to the women's tag match actually. But yeah, actually I'll bump that up to a 9. Give me a 9. I really like this show.
Right.
I was a really big fan of this show. It was short. It was only a couple matches. Every match was good. There was not a stinker. Usually there's a stinker or a whole pay-per-view stinker like Survivor Series, but there wasn't really a stinker on this show.
It's a good way to end 2020 in the pay-per-view column.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And it set a lot up for Rumble.
I'm excited. It's very exciting. Very exciting. So we'll see the fallout from this. Not sure when the next wrestling recap's gonna be. So maybe we'll do a New Year's Evil one. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see what we're doing.
Maybe. Otherwise,
we're feeling.
Well, like I said, we'll have a holiday break. But thank you guys all very much for listening to this episode of the Department Podcast. Justin and I, Joe, Steve, Jesse, we all appreciate you guys listening to us and taking your time out during this holiday season to listen to us. So thank you guys for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Leave a comment if you like the show. Give us your rating from the show. I know I saw one of the NFL videos. Some guys locked in some bets, like some guy on our YouTube channel. Commented and gave some of his betting guys to lock down, and one of them was the Colts, and they won. So thanks to that guy. But like I said, subscribe, comment, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That does help out our podcast a lot. Make sure you guys follow our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_pod. We're probably having a Week 15 review podcast for the NFL coming up. I'm not sure what else we're doing after that. Maybe a college football one, I think, is maybe in the works between Steve and you and a couple of our other college friends get on that. But otherwise, we're taking a little holiday break. Like I said in the last episode, we're going to come back rebranded, better than ever, man. We're going to have a different look to ourselves. Same people here, but a different name, different look. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.